This is Mags on Media and some international brand snippets very quickly. The battle of the luxury car brand seems to be back in full swing, much to the delight, I guess, of the Twitter sphere, as BMW in the United States posted this picture to its Twitter account. Competitor Audi was quick to point out that the light painting technique used in the image resembled their logo, to which BMW's somewhat salty reply was, "We see it where we usually do, in the rearview mirror." An American television network, HBO, paying homage to the female talent who work tirelessly behind the scenes to bring global audiences the best drama series. The campaign, called #BecauseOfHer, features female directors, cinematographers and writers. Now, with so many brands vying for the attention of the youth market, here's the question. How do you cut through all of that clutter and make sure that your brand really gets noticed? Well, the team at soft drink brand Fanta seems to think that they have found the answer. Bite-sized content for teens, by teens. It's called the Fanta Squad YouTube series, and it's racked up more than 1 million views since its launch about 2 months ago. To talk us through the, I guess it's the holy grail of teen marketing, is Fanta's head of content excellence, Monali Shah, and comedian and Fanta Squad member, Siabulela Deli. To both of you, a very warm welcome. Monali, let me start with you first of all. I want to grip on exactly who this market is, but also tell me why it's so difficult to reach.
Well, our target market is teens, especially for Fanta. And if you look at teens, the way they consume content at the moment, it's online. If you want to connect with them, you have to connect with them in a very authentic way, you know, be part of their lives in a way that doesn't feel forced, in a way that you're not kind of speaking to them or like sending messages to them. So how do you become part of their lives in a way that they'll engage with you without, you know, them just listening to your messages? And that's how we kind of managed to cut through using the Fanta Squad, which is an online web series where we have 3 teen vloggers who...
And we've got one of the Fanta Squad sitting here next to me. And
right
Sibulela, I'll get to you in just a moment. But very quickly, is this the only approach for that particular market segment? Does this mean that the traditional approach is no longer working?
No, this is one of the approaches. This is an approach where we're able to engage with them in an authentic way. There's, of course, very many other approaches. There's experiences, you know, providing experiences to teens, providing digital content to them, engaging with them through influencers, through micro-influencers. So there is quite a few ways of engaging with the teens, and this is just one of them, which is content.
So, Sibulela, you're part of the squad.
Yes, sir.
You're a comedian, but before we started this interview...
Not stand-up, though.
You told me you don't do stand-up. You do a different kind of comedy.
A lot of people get confused because they think, because of the sketch comedies we do, we're also part of stand-up comedians. It's quite different, actually. So it's a generational thing.
Yeah, thanks for educating me in that respect. So what have you been asked to do for this particular brand?
To come with content,
yeah,
my expertise, and also my engagement with the teens, I guess, over social media. Teens these days, they're forever on social media. That's how you connect with them. And what better way than through comedy?
So what have you done particularly in your segment for this brand? What was asked of you?
To bring content, punchy content.
Yeah, what is punchy content?
Punchy content, crazy ideas. Yeah. If you've watched the episodes, we always go around doing crazy things to people. For instance, we pranked people this other time. We had a wedding at a taxi rank.
Yeah.
So you can imagine a wedding at a taxi rank. It's never been done before. I don't know, not in South Africa. But like people were amazed. Is this really happening? What happened to the old-fashioned way of getting a carriage at least?
And walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
And what was the response like from?
People were shocked, and people thought it was legit.
Yeah.
People were biting into it. People, in fact, when we were shooting it, people had already started posting snippets on Twitter saying, oh, we saw this wedding at a taxi rank. It was the first of its kind, and people get mesmerized by those kind of things.
So, Monali, how then does that, and it's clever, and it's quick, and it's witty, how does that then revert back to what you're trying to do with the brand?
So, as a brand, we're trying to connect with the teens. We're trying to engage with them. If you look at our brand values, you know, we stand for enjoyment, fun, friendship, and that's what we're trying to portray through our content. So what it helps us do is be in consumers' lives or our target audience's lives in a very natural way, in a very authentic way.
Why did that particular segment or that particular snippet work, do you think, for your brand, the wedding at the taxi rank?
Because it's entertaining. If you think of the content that you watch online or on TV, whenever you're watching content, you'll continue to watch it if it's entertaining, if it's funny, if it has some sort of emotional value to you, you'll continue watching it.
So what sort of display then of the Fanta brand would have been in that particular execution, or would that have just come at the end of it?
Every episode has different involvement of Fanta as a brand or as a product. So as a brand, you'll sometimes see our branding, you'll see our products where, you know, they do get thirsty while they're shooting, so they'll consume the product. You'll see it in their hands. They'll be in the Fanta office, as an example, which is Fanta branded. They'll have Fanta brand colors on.
But
so
Sibulela, it's subtle, though. You're not trying to shove the brand into this audience's face, because the moment you do that, I guess, is when you're going to turn them away.
It's simply a thing of there's these bunch of cool kids who do this cool stuff and very fun. So as soon as they find out it's Fanta, it associates themselves with, oh, Fanta's actually a very cool brand. This is what they do. And with what we do, we communicate with teens, not only teens, also other age groups, but mostly the focus is on teens.
Are you given free rein as far as developing the ideas are concerned, or are you simply told that this is something that
No, the content comes from outside. Obviously, the content has to be strict in some way because we're dealing with teens. So we have to be safe, but funny and crazy, and just bend the rules a bit.
So how are you doing that? How are you coming up with that content? I mean, what makes a great idea in this respect for this very difficult market?
It's not really a difficult market because they're very quick to funny stuff, punchy content. So it can be relatable stuff or things that people have never really gone through or experienced or wouldn't have thought that actually this would happen. At, for instance, this episode on the screen now, he's gymming in an elevator. How weird is that for you to come inside an elevator and see someone picking up weights? There's a gym. There's all those gyms.
Happens to me all the time. Tell me a little bit about the day with the triplets.
We're just trying to get together as a family and see if you can be one and unite and all of that. So we're trying to do that by doing challenges while we're being triplets. Go eat food. And I even tasted sushi for the first time, and there was this green thing that's very spicy. What do they call it?
Wasabi.
We did all those...
Wasabi, there we go.
Wasabi, yeah. We did all those kind of assignments, and then towards the end, we tried to fit in one clothing. It was shorts and although we had to cut the shirt, though.
Okay, very quickly, Manali, how's the success, then, of this campaign measured, given, I think I mentioned that already in, about 8 weeks, you've had 1 million engagements on YouTube?
It's hard to tell the success in such a short time, but what we have seen an amazing view-through rate. So we're sitting at about 64% of teens watching this episode to the end, and the industry standard is about, I think, 24 to 27%. So over 1 million views. Our highest viewed episode is around 286,000.
Guys, that is a fascinating insight into marketing to this very, very difficult segment. Sibulela, if you come and prank me at any point, let me tell you right now,
there's a camera behind you, actually.
I'm going to come and haunt you. I really am. Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
I really appreciate your time. Manali Shah and Sibulela Deli from Fanta, thank you both for joining us. Coming up on the programme, why the Pratley family decided to reenact this famous stunt, all in a bid to connect with a new generation of consumers.